Okay, guys, so here's basically the deal of what's going on. We are about to see the massive meltdown between essentially the Democratic and Republican Party on one particular issue, which is the Social Security Administration and its programs, retirement, disability, things like that. Now, as things heat up, and we can expect them to get really hot, really red, especially over the next basically year and a half, we're going to be seeing what will be the fight between the wealthy people and the middle lower class people. All right, let's go through this real quick. President Biden threatened wealthy people with a new tax. Okay, it's the FICA tax. The FICA tax is the tax that you pay every year for your Social Security benefits. The new every dollar FICA tax is where basically you only normally get taxed for earned income as a person up to $160,200. But then any money above that doesn't get taxed because there's no actual benefit that you would get, right? You're not going to get more retirement benefits. You're not going to get more disability benefits. So the bottom line with this whole situation is that they've got a problem now because President Biden has come out and threatened wealthy people. Because if wealthy people have a lot of income, then 12.4% of that income is a lot of money. You know, when you get big money into it, it's like, whoa. So imagine tipping a waitress 12.4% on all of your 5 million worth of earnings for the year. I mean, that's a lot of money. Okay. She did have that cute smile though, right? Yeah. But instead of a waitress, it's President Biden, and he forgot to bring out your food because guess what? You get nothing and taxed more for it as a person earning more income. So, kind of the bottom line here is that people, the rich, have been threatened with this tax. Now, those who are low income and poor will say, hey, screw those wealthy people. Just screw them. You know, they, you know, they don't deserve all that money. We deserve the money, right? Wealthy people say, why? You didn't earn it. I earned it. Cool. Now, normally, because there's more poor people than wealthy people, the poor people would have more power, right? Because of the votes, but not in America. That's not how it works anymore. Okay. Because remember, politicians takes a lot of money to get elected to be a politician, usually. And who has the money? Let's just be fair here. Okay, cool. So the rich got threatened with a massive tax and they responded in the form of some old school Republicans. And those Republicans are going to balance the budget. That's their I'm riding into the great fire, right? With my crucible, I'm going to do the whole idea. They're masquerading this idea as balancing the budget. Okay. And they're going to do it by taking a program that you paid into your whole life. And they're going to play some games with it. And now they're going to change the rules so you get less. Sounds unfair, sounds ridiculous, and sounds like indentured servitude. And those are likely the exact same words that the rich people used when you guys all said, hey, tax them the full 12.4 for all their income. You know, we could save money in so many places, in so many ways, in what we spend as a nation, but we don't do that. What we do is we literally allow our politicians to change the one program that makes sense of what our nation is all about, being freedom, right? You get old after working really hard. And then at that point, you get a check every month so you can just do whatever the hell you want during your 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, right? Okay. Well, they're going to ruin that promise, the promise of retirement, because both parties have mismanaged the trust funds and left us with a 10-year sandglass time schedule that ruins the so-called American dream. Because as you guys know, you got 10 years until the trust fund runs out and you get about 3/4 of your benefits. Okay. BK Dan, howdy. How likely do you think this is to pass, or do you think they'll just increase FICA tax to something like 12.6 or 12.8 instead? So BK Dan, I actually answered that later in the script. I will get to that though. That is a good question. Excellent job. Thank you for the $5 donation too. So that's awesome. So by 2033, the full retirement age would be 69 under their bill language and no longer 67. So they're going to raise it 2 years. People born in 1960 or later have a Democrats want to take the ride. The Republicans want to take the low income and the middle income for a ride. So the rich don't care about retiring at 69 because what do they care? They got money. You get a little check every month from the government that means nothing to them. The hardly worked or never worked don't care because they will just go on supplemental security income. They don't care about people pissing and moaning about some FICA tax. They don't care about the 12.4% of, taxes off of earned income. They haven't earned much, or they worked under the table and got the full maximum benefit of cash in hand. They don't give a shit. They don't care. And that's because they beat the system in their own way. That's how they view it. And now maybe, they're a little pissed that they don't get a lot of money, but that's how they view it. Right. And that's okay because everyone has their own thing. Some people make $1 their whole life. Some people make $1 billion their whole life. Everybody has their own thing. All right, cool. So we got that. The lower middle class care because they now have 2 years of less freedom under this new potential bill that could come out. So you heard me right. Under the American model of work makes one free, and you heard me right. That's the American model, okay? Which coincidentally was also the phrase above the gates of Auschwitz. Seriously, go look it up. Go look it up. Bottom line is if you work and at 67 now, you get a check every month to do whatever you want during your 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, whatever, okay? That's called freedom. It's where you have money and can choose what and where you want to spend it on. This is going to be, a very unpopular bill if they want to raise the retirement age to 69. So here's the thing. This is going to be very unpopular because if the average benefit is around $1,800 today, right? That's the average middle. It's like $1,700 and change, but that's around $1,800 for a retirement check. It's actually $1,700, I think, $1,730 something dollars. But it's let's just assume it's $1,800 because it's late. It's 1:23 a.m. and I have work at 7 a.m. It's late. Okay. Now here's the deal. You would lose if you had to wait 2 extra years around $43,200 in today dollars as a result of this bill. Not to mention, of course, 2 years of your life having to work additional time. BK Dan, thank you for the $2 donation. I figured Y cap is 160K. Reps walk in making 172K. Yeah, I haven't done a video on that because I don't want to get murdered. But yes, that is correct. Very good. Excellent job. Very good. And then, as you know, they actually get a lot of benefits beyond that, like all their food's taken care of, blah, 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 all that stuff. So Purple Mafia, thank you for the $4.99 donation. Very cool. Very cool. So if we look at this thing from the 2033 year, right, 10 years down the line, and that depends on if there is like unbridled inflation. Like if we have more Biden years, we're probably going to have higher inflation years. And realistically, it could be really bad. But let's say that it's like a middle ground to bad, right? Which is how this country kind of rolls. It would probably be more, I mean, nobody has a perfect number on this forecast, but it'd probably be around $70,000 that you would lose if they changed it to 69. Because you'd have to basically not get for those 2 years retirement benefits worth around $70,000, which means that, to be fair, it means that unfortunately, you would have lost 2 years of your life and 70K worth of benefits. And then if you do it in today's dollars, 2 years of your life and $43,200 worth of benefits. So do the lower and middle class want to lose around 70K in the future, or in today's dollars, $43,200? No. So the lower middle class will vote against the Republicans. But can President Biden pass a bill that raises the FICA taxes to include all income and not $160,200, right? Because that's what he wants. He wants a donut hole thing with like $400,000. Bottom line is he wants to get rid of, any, stoppage, any ceiling for that tax. He just wants everybody to get taxed on all income all the way up. Okay. Well, no, because here's the deal. Rich people now are faced with this problem. They pay for a lot of our politicians' reelection campaigns. Okay. And he is right now dealing with a soon to be filed potential impeachment and criminal charges through his son, Hunter. By the way, if you haven't seen that, which it is all over the news. Like, if you haven't seen any of that, it means you live in a very left-leaning hole in the ground. I know that some people will literally chat and put in the comment section that that's impossible. Nothing's going on with that. Oh my God, how could you say that? Just take the TV remote right here and click the button that makes it change channel. Just click the button and it will change the channel. And then spend 5 minutes watching. You'll be fine. So the bottom line is, I had a friend who had no idea about it, which shocked me. It's because it's everywhere. But everyone has a friend who only lives on the very, very far left. So be kind to them, because you know what I mean? It is what it is. I have friends on the extreme right. Like, Christianity is, like, you have some people that are like, I'm Christian. And then you have some people who like literally live in a church, Christian. Not like because they're poor, but they literally live in a church and they're not the pastor. So, okay. This is, of course, going on while Trump continues to get criminal charge after criminal charge for many of the same things President Biden has and is currently doing. Will either of them go to prison? Of course not. This has been proven now over and over and over again to be a two-tier, system of justice. I mean, honestly, it's like Hollywood could have written it. It's not well done, though. I got to be honest. The plot holes are very large. It's like James Gunn was working on it. We could have gone with the original DC universe, but we won't go into that. Republicans have a way to fix Social Security benefits, but it will cost individuals somewhere around $70K in 2 years of your life. So that's crap. We don't want that. And Democrats have something that they can't get passed into law. Like, the rich people are never going to let that fly. So what's the right answer? It's easy. You move the trust funds into investments that Wall Streeters use. We've talked about it. We could put a plan together about it. And everyone is ignoring it because no one trusts the federal government with taking retirement funds and using them in the private marketplace. That's literally why it hasn't been done. We just don't trust those people enough to do it. You could say, oh, it's market volatility. Oh, it could go this way or that. No, we don't trust them to do it in an intellectual way. We don't. We have talked about it. We could put this plan together, but we don't trust them. That's the reality. So who doesn't get screwed over in all this? The SSDI people don't, because they ride. That's the disability people. They ride, that train to full retirement age, whether it's 67 or 69. I mean, they get screwed over a little bit, but not much. The VA people don't, because their VA benefits are better than anything the civilians could dream of. Literally, if the civilians knew about the transportation, at-home care, monthly benefits, they would start making real demands on the Social Security Administration and, of course, the group that actually controls what happens, the White House. Government employees care, but it's not huge because they have pensions, even though there are some windfall provisions that just really suck for them. I don't know why we have them. It's weird. We pay them significantly less while they work for the government, and we give them a pension, but then we windfall them, which means we don't allow them to stack their benefits, but rather reduce them significantly with the other pensions they're supposed to get. So there you go. Bottom line, at the end of the day, we have failed attorneys running our country into a less freedom and more work scenario. I guess the thing I've learned from YouTubers and callers is that many of them moved to Vietnam, Thailand, and other places where it's super cheap to live, and they can still get their disability and retirement check. Now, the SSA hasn't published that there are CDI units outside of the nation, but I would imagine that's the next step. Things are just going to change, about that feeling where you are tense from always having to work, right? And then normally you retire and that tenseness goes away. But I think we're just going to have more of that tense anxiety and depression going into later years of our life. It's important to know when something is successful and being led by people who know what their job is, that it will result in a positive outcome. And the American people are the job. We did this whole military base in everybody else's state, everybody else's country, which works when you want price fixing internationally. Which is funny because, we're not allowed to do, as corporations, price fixing. That's a no-no. That's wrong. That's illegal. But the government does it freely by going to foreign nations and selling safety, our military, in exchange for fixed prices on oil and other raw products. Point is, countries taking over other countries is coming to an end. In 20 years, you won't be able to find a third world country on the map. I'm 30 years, in 30 years, rather, the big boomers, how-to video will be on YouTube, like how they actually make the big bomb and stuff like that. That'll all be, schematics available to everybody on YouTube, all that stuff. You have 10 years of the style of living that you currently have been living as a retired person. In 8 years, the car and house bank loan people will be likely denying retired people left and right because the Fed retirement money will be on the verge of a reduction. So the banks won't be able to rely on it because they'll be like, well, what are you going to have after the reduction? I know what you guys don't think about, and I want you to understand this, and that a lot of you vote the way you do because you do what you do. It just is what it is, whether it's name recognition or you've always been a Democrat or you've always been a Republican, and that's fine. You can vote whichever way you want. Just answer one question for me. If you had a child today, would that child be able to retire by 75? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's 75 years of poor politician management of the wealthiest nation on earth. And think about it. Think about this. If you had a company that made more money than any other company, it would take a group of uniquely horrible people to allow the company to year after year go into untenable debt. And we voted them in. And how you see those pictures where the people in their 60s say how amazing they are and how they didn't call the police and they were tough and they drank real alcohol. Well, what happened? Did you guys purposely screw the millennials over, or were you just like as a group incompetent when it comes to your voting skills? Seriously, it's the richest, most open border first world country on the planet, right? So how did you let this happen? It's like getting an F on a retake exam because no one learned to review the exam they failed originally. It's insanity because while everyone is working so hard to make enough money, and that's what those, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90-year-olds did. They worked so hard to make so much money. They just like ignored the part where the government just more. And then they voted for that over and over again. Comments would be like, well, it's not my fault. I didn't vote that way. Well, did you tell your friends? Shit, man. So look, to everyone over 50, thank you so much for working so hard throughout the years. But I think we can all agree that you should have paid more attention to all these yeehaws you voted in. Other countries have fast ways to fire the politicians if they don't deliver because they were paying attention. And we don't have that ability to just quick fire these politicians. So look, if I hurt your ego, go look up one of those pictures on Facebook that says your generation was the bestiest best. Just go look one up. You'll feel better. I think that generation was the best at working hard and letting the government tax more of their money because they just didn't blinders or mentally they weren't educated on whatever it was. They screwed it up. But no generation is perfect. Mine has seen the final purpose of life, my generation. The meaning of life, as it started, was originally survival, to survive to the next day. Then it was about reproduction, making more life. Then it was about safety, building walls, fences. Then it was about, relaxation and enjoyment, right? Cool. And now, with low fertility rates resulting, and now my generation and younger have found a way for men to have babies. The meaning of life has come full circle, people. It's incredible. Guys, we don't even need women to go to Mars now. Think about how ludicrous and brilliant the Occupy Mars movement could be. I'm excited about it. I need you to understand this on a serious note, though, because that's me just having fun with how far we've gone with these extreme measures of, how we define people. On a serious note, remember how in The Matrix, remember those movies? They made 3 and then they made that extra one. Remember how in The Matrix, the machines would birth babies for the resources like heat and stuff like that, and then flush them once they aged out? Does any of that sound like the current system we have, life, work, death. Instead of machine resources, we are taxed resources. We are the coal in the engine of the politicians that basically spend the American work effort. And just remember, there was a time when people lived in caves and cabins. They made it. They made it. It was so difficult. They made it. Again, BK Dan, thank you for the $2 donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. But those people made it. The cave people, they made it. The cabin people, they made it. The horse-drawn carriage, they made it. But they didn't have the United States government there and a bunch of failed real-world attorneys running the machine that eats your years. 67 to 69? How the F did that even make it on the platform for trying to fix the economy? It's a program that we paid into our whole damn life. And you're going to attack that? The thing you owe us on? You're going to attack us on the thing you owe us on? Shit. You work, it eats your work product. And then if you don't die before 62, you get a severance check for playing the game of America. Remember what I said, people. Work, it makes you free, right? You see, in World War II, freedom was death. They worked you in the work camps until you died. They took the metal from your teeth and they piled your shoes up in the corner. And I know this because I'm genetically, literally related to the people who were in it, both the guards in it and those who were the slaves in the camps. It's a unique genetic background. So, anyways, the point is this. It's 67 years full retirement age today, 69 maybe tomorrow, because that is the threat that the rich will make, because the rich were threatened with a bill to tax them heavily. Probably 80 years old for retirement for my kids, if I ever get a chance to having them. All you guys, you're all sitting there going like, oh, those millennials, those younger generations, why don't they have lots of kids? Because we can't make enough money, because the money we make isn't worth shit. And the food we buy is too expensive. And you guys are sitting there being like, God, they're such a letdown. How could they be so bad? And I'm sitting here just like, how could you guys screw us up and screw us over this bad? You're like, oh, a lot of you guys, I hate China. Well, then why'd you send all your business there? Oh, because it was a financially great idea. For who? Not for me. Shit. Anyways, you guys know who I am. I appreciate the moment. I appreciate people hanging out with me, especially at 1:39 a.m. That's incredible. Please have an absolutely wonderful night. I'm going to be doing one little quick fun video after this that I don't take too seriously. This next video is just going to be a fun one. You guys know who I am, Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA, the most viewed and subscribed to Social Security disability attorney in America. If you have a law firm question about disability benefits and being represented, call between the 9 to 5. If you want to call about a question not about being represented, call on Thursdays from essentially 8 to 10 p.m. That's when I go live on YouTube to just answer questions from anybody. We even get callers from all over, as far as the farthest islands on Earth, which is just cool now. With that said, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a review. I prefer the 5-star reviews on Google. If you go to Google and type in Disability Resolution Law Firm or Disability Resolution Florida, it'll pop up on the right side. Just click there, leave a 5-star if you want. We've had over almost 12 million views on this channel and only about 2,000 5-star reviews. My goal is to beat Trajector on the amount of 5-star reviews we have, because Trajector is the largest disability firm and they do VA and regular disability in the nation, probably Earth, but they are the largest. And I would like to beat them on 5-star reviews. So Anyways, I hope all is well. If this video gave you some new perspective, some new way to look at it, I flipped it over and you looked at it this way and then flipped it this way and you looked at it that, and with the spirit fingers, if it helped you in any way, please consider like, subscribe, 5-star, or any review you want. All right. I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful day. And please remember to take care of yourself because it's getting tough out there. Every single day it's getting worse. So I will catch you a little bit later and I'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes and we'll go from there. And the next video is just a fun one. So if you're looking for just a fun, quick thing, that's going to be the next one. I'll catch you guys later. Have fun. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.